Crafters,
Once you hit live, you're live.
good to see you again. Tom and Julie Creek here for Tom and Julie Live, Creek Bank Creations, here for our Thursday edition. What's the date, honey?
The 26th.
Thursday, March 26th, 2020, here for our Thursday Live edition. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. What card are you doing tonight, Julie?
They're sitting right in front of you.
Oh, these cards we're doing tonight. Do you see those? Bring it up close. See the basket weave in the back, and the Easter egg, and the, I'm going to try to get it where you can see the sparkles in the background. And we're also going to be doing this Easter card tonight as well. Good to see you, Hope. Hey, Yellow Rose, good to hear from you again.
There we go, good.
Okay, we are going again. I've got two prizes I'm going to be giving away this evening. Can you hand those to me, hon?
No.
She can't hand them to me, but I'm going to show them to you. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Here it is. I've got a die pick and die brush that we're going to be giving away in between cards. And then at the end, I have a Impressions Sizzix Thinlit. It's a die combination 3D embossing folder all at the same time. So we're going to give that away. Now that's two prizes we're going to be giving away tonight, crafters. Now, if we get over, what would we say the magic number was?
I thought we weren't doing that because we're not ready to do that yet.
We're not ready to do that. Never mind.
We're going to do that next week.
We're going to do that next week.
We got to learn what we're doing.
We're learning what we're going to be doing, okay? So, we're going to be talking about a lot of different products tonight, including our Creek Bank Creations Super Tacky Tape. This is the 6-inch version. There's 27 yards here. Julie's going to be using the Pixie Puffer tonight.
I am?
Aren't you?
I don't know.
Based on the card here, as well as she's going to teach you a lot of other cool techniques. Really appreciate the response we've been getting about the online class we're going to be doing next week. This is the card we're going to be doing on the online class. Okay.
You need to explain that because I don't know what you're talking about.
You see that right there? Want to get up close?
Oh my.
Am I too close?
Lots of people.
There we go, yes. Okay, and what we're going to do is Julie's going to teach you how to make this card. However, the cool part is we're going to send you a class card kit that's already pre-cut. So you can do the card with Julie as she's doing it online. Now, the way we have it is it's priced on the webpage. It's $7.50. That includes shipping to your house.
No.
However, with the discount.
No, it's $6.
No,
it's $6 and the coupon code does not apply. It's $6.
Oh, you changed it.
I did.
So it's $6. The coupon code doesn't work.
Is it back on?
Yes.
Okay.
The coupon code does not work with it. But that is the delivered price. And then you crafters can do it at the same time Julie's doing it. Are you ready to take it away, hon?
Okay, I am.
Here's Julie.
All right, how's everybody doing? It looks like we have several people joining us. So in the beginning, when we start this thing, the reason Tom and I are doing this switcheroo thing is because I am going out and putting links on our Facebook page so people can know that we're live, and Tom doesn't know how to do that yet. So Mr. Creek is going to be under training in the next few weeks so that he can learn how to do some of this stuff. He is not on social media and doesn't want to be on social media, but he is going to learn these things, and he's doing a good job adapting. He'll get there. So just want to check in with you guys. How's everybody doing? Are you staying in the house and being careful? And Tom and I went yesterday to the grocery store And we basically kind of haven't really gone anywhere since we did a show in St. Louis because we were exposed to a lot of people. So we've been staying away from everyone. And we went out and got onions yesterday. And I felt like it was this big major treat because we like got in the car and went somewhere. And like people are like not following the 6 foot away rule. I was like, back away, back away. We're supposed to be 6 feet apart. So it's hard because I guess I didn't realize like in our society how much we want to visit and talk and be friendly with each other. And that's kind of hard to do when you're like 6 feet away. Like I asked Tom, I'm like, okay, how long is the couch at home? Like, is that 6 feet? Cause like, that's a long way away when you're talking about having a a conversation with somebody. So are they staying away from you? That's the question. So
Too low, your head's cut off.
my head is cut off. My head's not cut off here. Ladies, do you see my head getting cut off? Hello, Cindy. How are you over there in Vetertucky? Hanging in there, grocery shopping. Yeah. So we're staying in too. So one of the ways, excuse me, that I have been managing my anxiety is I asked for a list of people within my Facebook feed that were first responders that I could pray for. So whenever I start to feel anxious, I pray for those people because sometimes praying for my own family makes me more anxious. So that's not good. So if I'm going to help manage my anxiety, that is one of the things that I do to help manage my anxiety. So yesterday morning when I woke up, I felt like the Lord was telling me to pray for my first responders that they would be surrounded. I just kept feeling the word surrounded. So I was like, well, I wonder what that really means. So I pop over to my computer after I'm like really awake and I type in the word surrounded because I'm like, okay, like I know what surrounded means, but like really what's more to that? And I really wanted to see I wanted to see a definition. And what I ended up finding was Psalm 23. And I felt like the Lord kind of really spoke to me and gave me peace about some things. And so then I prayed that over my workers or my first responders that I'm praying for. But I want to read to you Psalm 23, 5. Now, Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. But verse 5 says, and this is really what I felt like the Lord was speaking to me about was this part. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Wow. And I started thinking about our friends that we have that for years have invited us to their home for dinner. Several times a year we go to their home, and they've been family friends like for as long as I can remember, since I was in the 3rd grade probably. And whenever we go there, they set out this beautiful spread of a table. There's always a tablescape on the table, and there's full service of dinnerware. I'm probably not even saying that right. More than one glass. Y'all know what I mean? It's a really nice thing that they do for us. So there's always a wonderful meal. And when we're eating our meal, they're serving us. Would you like some more water? Can I get you something else? And you just are basking in this wonderful gift of hospitality that they give you. And it's always such a delightful time. And then after dinner, would you like tea? I have a dessert for you. And of course, everything is made from scratch. They're just the most amazing people and have been such a gift to us in our life. And when we leave there, you always feel kind of sad that you're leaving because it's such an awesome thing to be with them. And you always feel like you're just like blanketed in love. And when we get invited, we look forward to going. We are sad when we leave. It's just an awesome thing to sit at that table with those friends. And so this was really the picture that I got when I read this verse. I was thinking about that awesome table that the Davises present for us, and the Lord says that He's prepared a table for us. So now, in the context of Scripture, think of that awesome banquet table in Bible times, like what would that have looked like? And that would be like a field full of people who are trying to kill each other with throwing rocks and spears at each other, but there in the middle of it is the table that the Lord's prepared for us. It says right there, in the presence of my enemies. I never realized that it said that before. So this was the message that the Lord wanted to get across to me yesterday and asked me to pray for my first responder people for. And I think for all of us, that even when we're in the middle of battle royale, he has prepared a table for us. So the only time that you can, if you're going to sit at the table and you're going to relax and you're going to enjoy the meal, the only way you can do that, the only way you can lay down your sword in the middle of a battle of your enemy, is that you feel that feeling like Tom and I feel when we eat at the Davises, and that we're surrounded in love. It's a great thing. And so that was the message that the Lord wanted me to get yesterday and to share with my first responders, is that he is surrounding us, even in the presence of an enemy who wants to destroy us, which would be a virus. He says that he's prepared a table for us in the presence of our enemies. And that table is peace and comfort. So just hang on to that. When you start to feel overwhelmed, yesterday when I was starting to feel anxious, I just put that picture in my mind, because I'm like artsy kind of girl. Visual things really are meaningful to me. So yesterday, whenever I'd start to like feel anxiety, and yesterday was a lot of anxiety, I put that picture in my mind. The Lord's prepared, which means prepared. He prepared it. He knew it was going to be there. He knew I would need it, and he prepared it. So that's your little word of encouragement for the day. Hang on to it. And I know that each of you are praying for our country and hanging in there in the fight with us. So be encouraged today. Psalm 23:5. He's prepared a table for me in the presence of my enemies. So tonight we are going, Tommy, got 45 people watching.
Cool.
We're going to work on some Easter cards tonight. And I want to talk about tape tonight because I had somebody email me questions. So I'm going to.
By the way, wait, tell the ladies they can ask questions on this forum.
Yes.
And I'll get the answers to, okay?
Okay. So if you have questions as we go through there, if you'll type your questions into the feed, Tom and I will work at getting answers for you. I know that y'all have different machines. There's a bunch of different stuff going on. I don't know if we can answer all of your questions because obviously we don't own every machine out there, but we'll do our best, and you all can comment back and forth to each other. If someone has a question about a certain machine and you have that machine and you can help out, that's awesome. You know, that is the blessing of having this little break in life that we're having, is that we actually have time to do this with you. And y'all are a community of educated people, crafters too. I start to say women, but then I get in trouble for saying that, and people sounds rude, but you know what I mean. We're a group of crafty people. So we can all help each other out. And tonight we're going to start out with what I call tape 101, and then we're going to move on. Did you thoroughly cover this card? Do you think you thoroughly covered this?
I just showed
I hate to
you.
keep talking. So this is a new card for us, a new die, and it's called the Spiral Pop-Up.
And a new stencil.
And new stencil. This is very difficult to see on a camera, but we are going to cover this next Thursday. So next Tuesday, we're going to do more with tape because I do not have time to cover it all tonight. Next Tuesday, we're going to work on some foil tricks. And I have a really cool technique that I invented, and I'm going to share it with you then. It's a really cool little tip that I think you'll love. So next Thursday, we're going to talk about the Spiral Pop-Up. Now, the Spiral Pop-Up is a die, and I designed a whole series of accessory dies that you can purchase to go with it, or you can use the dies that you already own. So there's a lot of versatility to it. But next Thursday, we're going to actually make this card, and you can purchase the card now. And we really would like for you to purchase the card by Friday so we can ship it to you. So next Thursday, when we do the video, we can all do it together. I'm just going to tell you, Tom and I have never done anything like this before. So if you have any prayers, you can throw them our way to, because we're just winging it, ladies and gentlemen. We're just doing our best. So there's Diane. What a blessing you are, Diane. So we're going to try that next Thursday. And, you know, if it seems like it worked okay, then we'll do more. The issue is that Tom and I prepped at least 60 kits for shows that have all been canceled. So I am sitting on top of scads of these cards that are just, they're going to go to waste. So we're just trying to figure out how to repurpose and not eat the whole thing. I am going to try to teach the class. Tom, do you remember what the name of that class was? A Card for Everyone. And sorry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Easter card out and we're going to put a birthday card in. So if you connect with us later in the year, you can check the shows that we're at to see if I'm teaching, because it really is a great class. It's got interactive cards in it, and it's
Judy said she
a
couldn't
lot of
find
fun.
the die on the website. Did we not put the spiral pop-up back on the website?
It's probably been disabled. So can you open up a window and do it? If not, we'll get it on there afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can't find it on the website, it was because we were out of stock, and in the craziness of everything that's going on, it's come back in stock, but we haven't gotten it turned on the website. So if not, we will get it. We'll get it back on the website. Deborah, thank you for the compliment. We are trying. I know this is rough. You know, like Tom and I are just like normal people. We're not techie. We're basically everything you're seeing, we've like taught ourselves how to do, and sometimes we're good at it, sometimes we're not, but we're trying. Let's get started, shall we? So we're gonna start with what I call tape 101. I don't know if I finished that thought.
What was that you said about the birthday?
The card kit is on the website right here, this card kit. It's all pre-cut and ready to go. There's a list on the website of the things that are not included that you would end up needing, which the stencil background on this stencil is called gradiated triangles. It's not included. So I put a list there, and everything that's not included, you could easily substitute something that you probably have at home. And I explained that all on our website. Yes, Tom.
Adrian Zunt had a question.
Yes.
Did I understand that next Thursday
Yes.
we're teaching the pop-up Easter card?
Next Thursday, we're going to do the pop-up Easter card.
But there will be a pop-up birthday card to follow in the future, question mark?
If I teach a class at a show later in the year, that class had an Easter card in it, which will no longer be applicable, and I'll take out the Easter card and we'll put in a birthday card. If you guys join, it would be the same application. But if you guys join us on Thursday and we all pull this off and we still love each other, we can do more we can do up more kits. We can do this. Because Tom and I have a lot of time. My hair is like standing up right there.
You're fine.
I hope my hairstylist isn't watching.
Baby.
We can do more. So we'll see how it goes on Thursday. And if Tom and I survive, then and y'all still are hanging around, we'll try to do it again, because it seems like to me it could be fun. I don't know. Sometimes I think things are fun and they're crazy. So I'm going to try to turn the camera down your hair is fine. I'm going to turn the camera down at a different angle tonight, because I want you to be able to see the die cut machine. And I kind of would like to see what you see better, because it's really hard to work blind, and I have been working blind. So I'm going to put the camera off at an angle, and then we're going to get started. So I want to start basically what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about two cards. And this one, I just wanted like a really soft look on it. And it just says Happy Easter, the Easter sentiment. And then we're going to do the same basic design, but we're going to use the Easter egg die. So I'm going to teach you some tricks. We're going to go through some things with tape, and have some fun. So I'm going to pull the camera down and we're going to get going. Get this so you guys can see it. Okay, we're gonna try it there. And Tom, you're gonna have to like give me feedback and stuff. I can kind of see what's going on. So Okay, so we're gonna start with the Easter card here, and I do want you to be able to see that card. Okay, so what we've got here is a basic background, and the background on both of the main cards that we're going to talk about tonight are the same, and that is an embossed background with the label stitched rectangle die in it. So two main components: the embossing in the background, and then the label stitched die. Now, I have been asked many times about this embossing folder technique here, and that's why I included it. It's one of those things people ask me at shows and I never really have the time to fully explain. So we're going to kind of look at that first. So we're going to start, I'm going to show you how I did that embossed background first, and then we're going to move on to tape. So the first thing is I'm using the woven 3D embossing folder from Sizzix. And if you are not familiar with these embossing folders, they are extra deep. And so when they're 3D. And so when you use them, you kind of have to change out your platforms and change some things around. So I'm looking for my paper here. You're going to take your paper and we're going to put that inside our embossing folder. But before we do that, your normal platform, this is how I normally die cut. I have the platform, the precision plate, and one clear. This is my favorite way to die cut. Tom, that chair back there is in the picture. Can you go move that chair out of the picture? If I'm going to emboss, I need to change out my platform. And I want to go back to the original platform. Now, this is for Sizzix. So we're looking at, I have the Vagabond here that I'm using, but the Big Shot would be the same. So you want to go back to your standard platforms, and you want to put in that base platform, and you want one clear. Base platform, one clear. So here's what I have left on my
What size
stack.
Paper? Sharon asked what size paper.
Sharon, I cut my paper 5.25 by 4, and you can cut it larger and then cut it down if you want to, but that's how I did it. Okay, now do you see how on my card my paper looks kind of yellow and kind of textury? Love this little trick. I want to get this really close. Do you see how that yellow is sitting right down in that texture of that folder? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up our embossing folder. And when you look at these embossing folders, there's a printed side and there's a non-printed side. So we're going to open it up and we're going to put ink on the printed side right here. So we're going to take our J brush and we're going to pick up some ink. And when I do this, I want you to see this. I usually just kind of go like side to side, get a lot of ink in that brush, and then just brush it on. Get it so you can see it. Just brush it on. You don't need a ton of ink, and you can mess around with this, and what you're going to find is you find your own technique more or less. I'm afraid of not having enough, and then you guys won't be able to see it. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So we do that. Now, Sizzix tells us when we use the 3Ds that we mist the paper with water and that we run it through 3 times.
What is that?
This is our baby blue sprayer, and I sourced this out that would give us a really fine mist. So I'm going to mist the embossing folder itself, and then I'm going to mist the paper front and back. Now, the reason we're misting is that we want to bend the paper, not break it. So we're going to carefully lay it in the embossing folder, get it straight, close the embossing folder, and then we're going to stick that in our die cut machine. Now, Sizzix tells us that if we want a really beautiful impression, that we're going to run it through 3 times. So that's what we're going to do because we're all into beautiful. And what you find when you do this is you get that color sitting way down deep in that where the embossing folder.
Back a little bit. There you go.
So isn't that a cool little way to get just a nice little touch? So when I did the backgrounds of these cards, that is how I did it. Now, when you go and you want to wipe off, you want to clean your embossing folder, you just want to take your stamp chamois and wipe it off, and you've got a clean folder. So this is just, that is the simplest thing ever, and the result almost makes the paper look like you had yellow paper to begin with, but you get that detail of the ink just sinking all the way down in the paper. So that's how I did the background on both cards. Now, both cards have that stitched frame on them, and that is made with our label stitched frame die. That's this piece. Now we have two dies like this that are very similar. One is called square and one is called rectangle. And this is rectangle. Rectangle works better with the A2 size card. Then we have the Happy Easter sentiment that we're using tonight for the first card. And then, okay, so get my pieces here. I'm missing pieces, Tom. This is not good.
What are you missing?
Okay.
Fine.
Well, I don't know. We might have to make do later. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our paper. I think I'm missing a whole envelope. This is not good. We're going to take our paper and we're going to do, I think I'm going to wing it. We're going to do tape 101. Okay. I've got my paper and I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to unroll my tape. And I wanted to be able to do this with you guys so you could actually see how I do this. When I do this, I do a whole sheet at once. So, do a whole sheet at once.
The whole sheet being 6 by 12.
Well, I have a lot of 12 by 12 paper, so I use, I do a 6 by 12, but if you have 8.5 by 11 paper, you could do half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I have just found that I end up wasting less tape if I just do the whole sheet at once. And you want to make sure that if you have any edges of tape showing or paper, that you trim those up. And you can just take your scissors and run around that edge. I do this because I have actually die cut things and thought I had tape on them, and then I didn't because I didn't have that edge straight. So straighten it all up. And now when we die cut, we have what I call tape 101, which means when I die cut my sentiment and I pull it out, it's already a sticker. Okay, that's pretty cool. So what we're going to do for this card is we're going to cut, I'm sorry, wrong card. We're going to cut 2 of these and we're going to stack one on top of the other, and then we're going to put our sentiment on. This inside piece is the die that, or the stamp that we used last night, and then I just went back and die cut it so that it would fit in there perfectly. Tom, can you come over here and see if you can find this stuff, or did I leave it at home?
There's the innings right there.
Yeah, I'm looking this piece right here. Okay, so what we want to do is take, I'm looking for this stuff, the stamped part. I don't know if I have it here and I just don't see it. We're going to take, oh, here it is right here. Okay, we're going to take the die, and you kind of want to look at the die and figure out which pieces you want to use. I'm going to take my A2 card here. And then I just look at the dies and go, okay, which ones, how do I want to set this up? And I'm going to take these 2 dies, and that's how I'm going to make that frame that goes around the outside of the card. Okay. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to take our die and we're going to get some purple. I use purple tape for this. And, you could use, if you have washi tape, you could use washi tape. But I love purple tape. So we're going to put that down, and we're going to put it down in 2 different places. So I don't know if you caught how I did that, but I folded that edge down on each side. So fold it in and then stick it down. The second one, you can kind of lay on top of itself. Okay, and now we want another set of those. We want one at the top and one at the bottom. Now we're going to use that grid to line up those panels.
What's the card kit for next Thursday call
I think it's called Easter Card Kit.
on the website?
Just if they type in card kit, we only have one card kit on the website, so card kit will get you there. Okay, now we're sticky all the way up, and I'm going to put my die down, and I'm going to line up my die using the grid lines so that I know my die is straight. Okay, now when I go back to put my second piece in there, I can
time out. Sticky side up with purple tape.
the purple tape that I have down is sticky side up. This right here is sticky. So when I put my die down on top of it, it's going to hold my die in place. Does that make sense, ladies? Are they with me, Thomas? Got to make sure it's straight. So you could do this with other shapes that you have in your collection. Push it down really well. We're going to turn this over. Push that down so it's secure. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that part off. I don't need that.
Can they look at you as a landscape instead of a portrait?
I have no idea. We can try.
How do you do that?
I got to rotate my phone. Okay, I'm going to try to do this and see. Does that help? I don't see that helps much.
Oh, you had it at an angle earlier.
Right there.
That's what you had it earlier.
Ladies, how does that look? You have to tell me. That looks crooked to me. Okay, so now I have my die secure, but I have all this stickiness of the tape, right? So I have, I keep this is called the embossing powder bag tool, embossing
tool, the powder tool.
The powder tool. I keep this in a bag, and then I keep a little paper in there. So when I use it, I have this paper that I can work right on top of, because, you know, honestly, this thing smells kind of weird and the powder annoys my fingers, but it does work. So this is made for embossing. What I'm going to do is really powder this whole thing up. And what I want to do is detack that tape. So you can see there's a lot of powder on there. Okay. Doesn't hurt to get too much. So if you have that little paper that you keep right in your bag, you just have it right there. And then you can just take that off and throw it in the trash can. And now you have your die ready to go. It's secure the way you want it, and it's ready to die cut. Tom, how's the angle going for everybody?
They said it was fine.
Okay, so I'm going to die cut this in my machine. So I'm going to go back to my favorite configuration, which is the magnetic platform, the precision plate, and one clear. And I'm going to put that on top and put that in my machine. We're going to die cut now. So we're going to cut that, and we're going to cut 2 of those. And then we'll see the beauty of the tape and the magic that we can create with that tape. Now, when we pull this out, we're going to have 2 pieces. We're going to have that inside piece, and we're going to have that outside piece. Can you guys see how that's just popping right out? That's cool. And there's that. And now here's the frame coming out. Now what we want to do is cut 2 frames, and then we're going to stack them and layer them. So I'm going to cut another one. Now, we're going to layer those. We're also going to stamp the background, and I already stamped that, and cut it with the same die so that it fits exactly in that frame. And so in order to get this background done, I'm going to run 3 passes. I'm going to have my 2 frames that I cut, and then I'm going to go back and cut that stamped. That stamped part is the background from the Names of Christ stamp. And when I stamped it tonight, I used the Twilight ink from Catherine Pooler. It gives you the background without so much dark, like the black was just too dark. So we're going to take the stamped card, and it does not, you can put tape on this. I did not put tape on it because I can use the 1/4" tape on it. And it'll save me a little bit of money. If you cover that whole back with that, that's tape's expensive, so you want to use it for when you need it. So now we have this piece that we can drop in the center of that. So these basically what we did here is tape 101, tape on the back of paper, and then we're going to layer all this up on our card. So we're going to put our background on our card, and we're going to do that with our 1/4" tape. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to do when I'm at home. I corner this tape and run it down without tearing it. And I'll show you why here in a minute. Use this tape a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. You get better at this. So do you see how I didn't have to keep tearing it? And now here's what's fun. When I go to pick it, I always say pick it and stick it. With my pick tool right there, I can pull that off, and one pull gets the whole thing off. So instead of all those little pieces, I just have one pull. That's fun. Okay, that's going on the card front.
What type of tape is that?
Tape is our super tacky tape, and it comes in various sizes. The big roll that I used earlier is the 6" and this is the 1/2". I use the 1/2" for a lot of card construction. There's my background. Now what I want to do is go back on, and we're going to build this background. So we're going to take the tape liner off. So we're going to turn that over. We're going to use the pick tool to pull that off, and we're going to center it on our card. Now, what we want to do after we have this on is go back on and add that second one, right? Right on top. So, you know, the chances that we would do that correctly are like slim and none, right? So we're going to take off the tape liner. And do you see how much I'm using the pick tool? Really handy.
Well, the purple tape. She wants to know about the purple tape.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the thermal web stencil tape, purple tape. And if you just type purple tape into the website, it'll come up for you. It's made for stencil work. It is the lowest tack adhesive tape.
Question for you.
Low viscosity. Okay, I'm sorry. I should have said what I was doing. I'm going to put undo on that, because what I want to do is go back in with that second layer, and I want to build up dimension. So I'm going to put undo on it, and then I'm going to be able to move that and set it exactly where I want it to be. So now I have layered up that really nice panel, and it's sitting exactly where I want it to be. It's going to take about a minute for that undo to dry. And do you see how that didn't affect my ink? It won't bother a darn thing. Now we have our panel, and we're going to drop that panel right inside our card, just like that. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of it, and we're going to drop that right in that panel.
New card kits available on the website. Does that mean you sold out?
If the card kits are available, that means that we sold out. Can you go in and manually change the number?
How many do we have?
That was your job.
How many did you start out with?
I guessed.
You don't know what you
Just
started
for
out
the record, I was supposed to get help today, but my son had a little crisis. So
with?
I
Tell them
didn't.
what the crisis was.
I'm not going to tell you what the crisis was, because we're going to talk about that later. But I didn't get any help. So when I say that we're like winging it and doing our best, we really are. So there are more card kits, and we'll get readjusted. When we get done here, we'll go do a count. We'll get it figured out, and then we'll get them back online. I know we have more. I just didn't want to put too many and then have a problem. So We'll get back on that. Okay, back to the card. We are doing our best. Okay, how's that looking, ladies? Okay, so I put my tape on and I did it in one continuous stream. That means when I pull it off, I can pull it off in one continuous stream. Love that. Okay, let's put our cinnamon on there. And that'll sit right in there. And then you know what? I'm gonna add a little string right in there. So I'm gonna pop that up just a little bit. And you can use your pick tool to get that to sit right down in there. Okay, now what I'm going to add to this card is, just to finish it off, is the sentiment. And I'm actually not gonna do that tonight because that's just die cutting and sticking it on. I don't want to waste your time with stuff that you probably know. But when we're die cutting that, we're die cutting it with the super tacky tape on the back. And then we're just peeling it and sticking it on. What I wanted to show you was the little stick flowers. This is one of the dies that really gets overlooked in the booth, and it's one of my favorites. It is good for birthdays, for Mother's Day, so many different things. It is called stick heart flowers. This is what it looks like. Okay, most of the time when I use it, I do not put adhesive on the back of it. And I wanted to show you when you cut this, what it looks like when I cut it. But I can't because I'm missing part of my paper. So, Tom, can you go get me a piece of paper in the other room, please? Out of the paper rack. So here's my little flowers.
What do you want? What do you want?
You know, it's a tough job to just sit around and talk with women, ain't it? I need a piece of paper out of the paper rack, please. And it needs to be like 6 by 4. Okay.
What color?
I don't care. Just go get me a piece of paper. Sorry, ladies. I left, something got left at home. This is the difficult part about traveling here to shoot video is that I got to transport everything. Okay. I'll show you this while he's doing that. I've die cut my little flowers. Aren't they cute, little guys? And we're gonna tie the string. We're gonna tie them with a string. So what I did, I want you to be able to see this. Slip the string right underneath that point right there. You guys see that good enough? Right underneath that point. Put your stick heart flowers right on that point, and you can set them exactly the way you want to set them. Decide how many you want. And what's cool is if you cut them, you can mix and match the colors. You have a stack of blue, stack of green, stack of pink, and just tie that little thing on right there. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay.
Brought me my paper.
Adrian had a question.
Yes.
Okay, I know the coupon isn't good on those, which is fine, the card kits, but will I be able to place an order for other things at the same time using the card kit?
Yes. No problem.
Okay.
We covered that today with the web guy, made sure. Okay, here's what we've got. Now they're really long, so you can trim those off the way you like them. And you can add more or less, figure out how you want to do that. Okay, so there's what I've got. And then I cut the cross. When you buy the egg, if you have the egg set or the mini bunnies, there's a cross that comes with them. So I cut the cross. And we're just going to drop that cross. We're going to get a dot of glue. And, you know, sometimes you need the old liquid. We're just going to put a dot of glue right there. And we're going to put that cross right on top. So that is how we did this Easter card. Little tricks and tips in there for you. Put your cross on there. And then add your sentiment. And that's what you have. Nice little card. Okay, I did want to show you when you cut the stick flowers. Tom went and got me a piece of paper. These are long. They're like, I don't know, maybe 5 inches long. And they're made like to make a bundle of flowers. See how long they are? And if you're not using them long, and we're not, you can take your paper, put it on up here on your die cut machine, and lay your pieces out. This is kind of cool. Lay them all out, and then you can see where they're going. These little guys kind of want to slide on you. Lay them all out. And then if I have extras when I cut these, I throw them in my die package and then I have them for later. Can you see that, ladies? There you go. And gentlemen. Okay, we're going to put the plate on top. And we're going to die cut. And I want to show you what happens. That's the beautiful thing about having the having that electric die cut machine. Look at that. There's your little flowers, and you can literally just pull those off. How cool is that? And now, because we didn't put the full die on the paper, I have shorter ones. So it's just a great way to not have your, if it's long, you're going to end up wasting a lot of paper. Pop that out with the die ejection hole, and you have those cute little flowers. So great little flowers. You can use them for a ton of different things. And it is one of my favorites. Okay, so that's stick heart flowers. Stick heart flowers has been around for a long time. It been around for a while.
Is that all caps on the coupon code, Sunshine?
I don't think it matters, actually. Okay, so we have one card done, Mr. Creek. Are you giving something
Yes.
away?
Yes. Okay. Julie told you. Do you want me to get there? You want to talk to him? Are you going to talk to him? Who's going to talk to him?
I'll talk to him.
Okay. All right.
I'm willing to talk to you.
Okay.
So I am working away today, and Tom doing his thing, and my son calls and says, "Hey, Mom, my son is his plant is shut down, so he's working from home. He has an office job. He's working from home." And he said that
What was the name of the stamp that has all the words on it? Was that the names of
the names of Christ, yes. I thought I had it here. Yeah, names of Christ. So my son called and said he was having a little crisis and could Dad please come over and help. So my son, well, I'm not supposed to say what the crisis is, am I?
No.
My son had a crisis today with an appliance in his house, which needed Tom's assistance. So the question is,
what was the major appliance?
what was the major appliance
And we're going to give away the die brush.
that had a
and the
problem
pick.
to the same person? Are we giving away two things?
We're giving away the die pick. And it's a set.
It's a package deal. Okay, so we're giving away, sorry, sometimes we talk to each other and sometimes we don't. We're giving away the die pick and this little 3D embossing folder. And this is a really special one from Sizzix because it embosses and die cuts at the same time. Tom, are you watching for the responses?
Yeah.
So this thing was, it was, the problem that it created was that the door frame of the house had to be taken off. And then it didn't want to fit in the space. You know how it is? It's supposed to be, you just got that thing and you put it in there.
Elston is the winner.
Elston, hot water heater. So they ended up taking the door frame off. Are you drilling a hole in the floor?
Yes.
Drilling a hole in the drain hole in the floor. You know, it is never easy when these things happen. You all know this. And when you have the privilege of living in the sticks, it's always interesting. We should have this question next week. How many trips to town did you guys have to make before the actual water heater got installed? Because as of on the way here tonight, the hot water heater was still not installed. And my son has 4 young children and a beautiful wife, who I'm sure are all anxious to have some hot water heaters. So you have Hope's address, right?
I do.
Yeah, we have Hope's address. So Hope, hey guys, thanks for playing along and guessing. And we'll throw in next week, how many trips to town did we have to make before the hot water heater was installed properly? You know, can I tell them a story about your mom a few years ago and the hot water heater?
What happened?
Oh my gosh. So years ago,
I don't remember the story. Except
Tom's
she dropped the tester in the toilet.
not that story. Tom's mom lived with us, and our son was he 18? Our son was 18, maybe 17 or 18. I don't know. Anyway, our son was around that age, and Tom's mom came to live with us, and Tom's mom had Alzheimer's. And let me tell you, life was a crazy zoo when she lived with us. It involved many, many problems, which included the toilet, that like it was a disaster. So we had just cleared the toilet problem, which she put something in the toilet and we had to take apart the entire toilet. It was a nightmare. So we had just the week before dealt with the whole toilet episode, and then the hot water. And when Tom was under the house taking the toilet apart, he discovered there's water into the house. There's something wrong. It's the hot water heater. We have to replace the hot water heater. So Tom's like, no big deal. This is what Tom says about everything. It's no big deal. Just me and you and Bri, we're going to pull that water heater out and then we're going to bring in this other water heater. No big deal. And I was like, well, you think we should get help? Oh, no. Oh, I got this. So supposedly he drained the existing hot water heater, and we have hardwood floor all over the whole entire house. How far was it from the hot water heater to the back door?
30 feet.
30 feet. And that's the living room, the couch, you know, your nice furniture's all right there. He turns the hot water heater over, and our son cannot, like Brian and I can't hold this thing because it wasn't drained. It was half full of water. So it goes crashing down on the floor, rolls across like it's rolling on the hardwood floor. It is dumping water the whole living room is flooded with water. And Tom's going, just get it out of the house. Just get it out of the house. And it's dumping water and it's dumping water. And we finally throw the thing out the back door, and Tom's mom walks in the living room and she goes, well, I don't know who dumped water all over the place, but you need to clean it up. So that's our hot water heater story. Do you have a hot water heater story? So it was never a dull moment living with Tom's mother. Okay, so we ready to move on? Let's do the other card. So I'm not going to do, like, we already covered all of this background, right? We figured all that out. But now I want to teach you like what I call tape 102. And I need a piece of typing paper, Tom. I'm sorry. I need a piece of printer paper. I forgot my printer paper. So I'm going to teach you how to do what I call tape 102. We're moving on to the
You need what? Piece of typing?
I need a piece of typing paper. We're moving on to tape 102. So this is probably the thing that I get asked more than anything when people are like, oh man, I bought that tape and I forgot what you said. So we're going to do that tonight. And in order to do it, we do need a piece of typing paper. And I'm going to teach you a little trick. So we have a whole series of dies that are designed that are multi-layer dies. So when you look at them, when you look at the back of a die package that's from Creek Bank, if you look at them and you see two sets of dies, I'm sorry, Tom, would you mind going to get the egg die for me? I'm sorry.
It's right behind you.
Okay, it's right behind me. Okay, if you look at the back, do you see how there's a detailed dot design and there's a plain design? They're meant to be layered on top of each other. So you could cut them in two colors of cardstock, or you can cut them on the super tacky tape sandwich. And I'm going to teach you tonight how to make the super tacky tape sandwich. So that's what I call tape 102. Okay, so what we're going to do, so there's a whole series of these that I've designed. And if you go to the Facebook page, our Facebook page, Creek Bank Creations Facebook page, I listed those tonight. There's little pictures of all of them. And there's flowers and there's shells. The skunk is actually one of these dies that we did a few days ago. So we're going to do one of those, and I'm going to show you how to make the tape sandwich, and then I'll show you how to put the
I was wrong.
Easter cards. Tom was wrong.
Hope didn't win.
Oh, Hope's a loser. No.
Mary Novak won.
Mary is the winner. Okay, so I'm going to take my tape, and you can do this with the 3-inch roll, or you can do it with the 6-inch roll. We're going to unroll it, and we're going to go over to our printer, and we're going to get a piece of paper out of the printer. And we're going to set that right down in the tape, just like that. Okay, now the reason that we're using our paper from our printer is because we want the thinnest paper that we own, and we need as little paper fiber as possible. We want enough to stabilize the whole thing, but we don't want so much that you won't be able to cut it. Now I'm going to cut this in the Vagabond, but you might not have the Vagabond. You might have a manual machine. Trim it out. So we want to keep it as thin as possible so that you can cut it in the Cuttlebug or whatever machine you have. We're going to unroll the tape, sticky side up, and I'm going to take my tape sandwich and I'm going to take the paper side. This is the paper, and I'm going to put it straight down into the tape. That is the tape sandwich. Tape, printer, paper, tape. You know, the first time I taught this in class, I called it typing paper, and I still sometimes call it typing paper. I had a young lady who raised her hand and asked me, where do you buy typing paper? And I told her she was too young to be in this class. Okay, that is the tape sandwich. Now, when you have the dies, and you see they have those two different designs in them, they have a layered, they have an actual design, and then they have just the basic shape. You're gonna cut the basic shapes on the tape sandwich. Okay, so I just happened to have already cut those for you tonight. Isn't that nice? Did do something right, maybe. Okay, here's my eggs. So we're gonna cut this is all my pieces that I need. I've cut those on the tape sandwich. So I have stickiness on both sides. Okay. Now we need the paper part to put on top, like whatever our design is. I was really going for a soft kind of pastel-y look on the cards tonight, but these cards look beautiful. The eggs do when you cut them in foil. You could do that too, and they're really pretty. Okay. So what I wanted to show you was when you die cut this, how to set this up so that it die cuts really well, and I'm going to show you a trick. So I'm going to take this is my platform, and I'm going to, I want you to be able to see this. I'm going to lay it up here, okay? Now, we're going to go, and we're going to get our dryer sheet. This is what I used from the Dollar General. I prefer the non-scented kind, but they don't have them very often. So I'm going to lay 3 of those up on my die cut machine. And here's the deal. You kind of have to mess around with this to figure out what works for you and your die cut machine. And it's going to vary depending on how much moisture is in the air. If you're in a basement, you're going to get a different kind of configuration as far as how things cut. But for me, I have discovered 3 dryer sheets, and I do have, like, this one's folded. So you'll just have to mess around and figure out like what is the configuration that works for you. And then I'm going to lay my paper on top of that. Now this is regular paper, no tape, because the top layer just needs to be cardstock. We're going to lay that on top, and I'm going to die cut that. And I want to show you what happens. Okay, I'm going to take my egg. I'm going to put it on top. Clear plate on top. Now, if you don't have the precision plate, this is the precision plate, then what you would have is clear, and then this stack, and then clear on top. And let's die cut. Now, here's this is a little trick if you've never seen this before. We're going to run this through. And when we pull this out, what we have is this. And do you see how all that stuff is falling out because of the dryer sheet? Okay, so literally that stuff just falls right out. And what happens is the dryer sheet kind of just pulls all that stuff out, and all that stuff just fell out. So that is a little tip that you can do when you die cut is use your dryer sheet. And like I said, you'll have to mess around and figure out like how many do you need and all that stuff. But once you figure it out, you'll know, I always know I need 3. And then you can keep this.
Are you going to have a tape class?
Am I going to have a tape class? Is somebody asking that?
Mm-hmm.
What would a tape class look like? This in a class? Would this be in a class? We're doing tape class right now. There's my egg. Okay. Now we have the base. Remember that base we have? Base. We're going to overlay that right on top. Okay. Now, and I know because y'all are so talented that when you do that, you're going to get it right the very first time, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our egg. We're going to take this. We're going to find that lovely die ejection tool. We're going to pull the top off and we're going to overlay that die cut shape right on top of that egg. Right? So we're going to take our undo and we're going to put undo all over the top of that. And here, let's talk about undo. We kind of flew right by that earlier. As long as undo is wet, it's going to suspend adhesion long enough for us to get to set that exactly where we want it. Isn't that fun? Yay. Okay, so we have this particular card has 3 eggs. So we need to do all 3 of them. I'm going to show I want to show you how I layered this up. Fun thing about the egg, the larger one is it has these little flowers in it. So if you want little flowers, you have little flowers there. Okay, now we're going to fill that all together. So I'm going to repeat and do all 3 eggs. And layer those up. Now you have to be careful once you get them done. I got that green one sitting up there. You want to be careful and not let anything get in them. If you get threads or anything in them, it'll stick in that tape because it's still sticky. Now we're going to peel this up. Is that another? That's the wrong size.
I see your arm, not what working on, but undo. I see your arm.
Okay. Does that help? I need a medium size one. I need to do this one and then go back. Can you see that better, ladies? Undo on there. Can you see?
Never mind, change my screen.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, see, we're all learning, aren't we? That kind of makes me feel good. Okay, I need to do the green one small.
A tape class would demonstrate all the tips and tricks Creekbank uses with tape. The undo trick, how to layer tape, etc., and when you would use those tips.
Yeah. Who's suggesting that?
Chi Gal.
Chi Gal. Where's she from?
I'm not sure.
Chi Gal, where you be from? Okay. I got to get the right combination here. Go here. So I have my 3 eggs. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I like to keep that relief liner around so I can push everything down. What happens is as the undo starts to evaporate, you need to go back and push everything down, and you need to make sure that that tape is getting pushed down. The paper is getting pushed down into the tape. There's my 3 eggs, right? Now, in this case, we have that background, and I want to show you how I did that because there's a little trick involved there, okay? So here's what I did. Remember when I cut that frame, I had 2 pieces, right? I had that, and I had this. So do you see mine's like tore here? Because when I pulled the tape off, it tore, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to use the tape side. So I'm going to take the tape side and I'm going to peel the liner off. Okay. And I'm going to drop in happy right up here at the top. Now, if I put this on here, see if you can see it. If I put this on here, and it's crooked, I can put undo and straighten it up. Okay, I got it. Happy. Okay. Now we're going to add the egg. So I'm going to pull the back of this off. Sorry, I'm going to pull the back off because remember, that's sticky back there. And I'm going to add my egg right in the center.
You're not on the screen. You're right there. Yes.
Okay. And we're going to add the other one really carefully because this is all sticky. And you can decide how you want to layer those up. Now, you know, we own the Pixie Puffer, or we own it, we sell it. If we're just doing an egg by itself, then I would take my egg like this, and I would hold it over the trash can, and I would puff it with the Pixie Puffer, and I would have a glitter egg, and then I'd add it to my card. In this case, we're gonna glitter that whole entire background. So I'm gonna stick that on here. You guys get a good look at that? I'm gonna push everything down. And then I'm gonna put it in the glitter bowl. Now, if I'm getting out the glitter bowl, you know what the glitter bowl is? It's like a Tupperware with a pixie dust in it. And we sell pixie dust. It's called pixie dust. Microfine pulverized glitter. So when I get this out, whenever I get my glitter bowl out, I always get my Tough and Tidy out. Tough and Tidy. I get this at Walmart. It's next to the floor in the Swiffer area. It doesn't have a lot of chemical in it. And I'm going to put that down right there, right next to that. Okay, that allows me to put this in my glitter bowl. And just dump that whole thing in the glitter. And that is what I get. So now I'm going to take my little Swiffer cloth and I'm going to use that to pull off all the extra glitter. And that Chicago is how I made that panel. And then I went back in and added Easter at the bottom. And when I cut this one, I had super tacky tape on it. So when I cut this one up here, I did not have tape. When I cut this one down here, I did. So it's just a great way to use them. And you can put them on the card individually, or you can stack them up and do the panel like I did here. Just a really great little tip. So that is what I call tape 102. I have one other thing I want to show you, and it's really simple and easy. And it is this card. This is the Chocolate Rabbit card, and we kind of talked about this the other night, but what I wanted to show you was when you make the Chocolate Rabbit has the bunny and the chocolate rabbit. So when you die cut that, you take your scrap paper and you pick 5 colors out of your stash that you want to put on your card, and you die cut the bunny. Okay, when you die cut it though, normally when we die cut, we put the die right on top of the paper and we cut this way. I'm going to die cut that out and I'm going to have a purple egg. In this case with the bunny, we're going to turn it over and we're going to die cut into the tape side, because that's going to allow us to have our bunny. See my little bunny? And I'm going to peel it off. And I'm going to put that in my glitter, or puff it with the Pixie Puffer, either way. And then when it comes out, I have made the peep. Isn't that cute? Little guy. And Chocolate Rabbit has the little bite mark, so you could also take that die back in and bite his butt off. So when you look at this, and do you see the color that's in this card? It's not the glitter. It's actually the cardstock showing through. And that paper that you're looking at, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of interesting. That's the Bo Bunny double dot, and you can see it's got the little dots are coming through. Okay, Tom, do you have anything else to share?
Yeah, we're gonna give this away.
Oh, you have another thing to give away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are
Yes.
you doing? How are you giving it away?
It's another contest here.
Okay. What's your contest?
This is it.
Hi,
we're giving.
I'm back. Tom has another thing to give away.
For,
We have 47 viewers. So, wow, that's amazing. Thank you for coming and visiting with us. What is the contest, Mr. Creek?
Contest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the person that knocked on our door today looking for?
Okay, so here's what you need to know. We live in the country. And how far off of the road is our house?
Quarter mile.
Our house is a quarter mile off
In the woods.
of the road in the woods. Tom built this road to our house, and it goes like through a farm field and then like up a hill and around. So today, what time was that? I'm gonna do a tell-all here.
It's about 3 o'clock.
It's about 3 o'clock. I'm working away and I hear a truck coming up the hill, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is not Tom's truck, and that's not my son's truck. Whose truck is that? And I'm freaking out because we do not have visitors at our house. No one comes to visit us. No, I mean, like, if they come, I know they're coming. So I was freaking out because I'm like, no, and it's not the Kirby Risk guy trying to sell me a vacuum. I call Tom, pick up the phone, I call Tom, like, somebody's coming up the hill, and I'm freaking out. And here's the deal. I still have my pajamas on.
Oh, Kathy Dittner guessed it. Kathy Dittner.
What did she guess? Where's she at?
I don't know.
She
Kathy,
must have
where
heard you.
from?
So I don't have a bra on. Tom's looking at me like, I can't believe you told people that. I'm still in my pajamas. I am busy. I am making egg cards. I am on a mission. So the neighbor got to visit with me, like looking like I'd been run over by a Mack truck, and he was looking for his dog. Yes, he was. And so I got the information. He's like looking for his dog who ran through the woods. And I have Tom on the phone the whole time because I'm totally freaking out. He's like, "Go get the gun." I didn't go get the gun. I didn't know where the gun was. So he was looking for his dog. His dog was on the hill behind our house chasing a squirrel. So do you have it figured out, Mr. Creek?
Yes, Kathy Dittner.
Kathy Deppner.
Dippner, D-I-P-P-N-E-R.
What is it? D-I-P-P-N-E-R.
Kathy.
So that was like the exciting times today, because no one ever comes to our house because most people don't even know the house was there. And the guy lives on the other side of the woods from us, which is why he knew our house was there. All right. We have done a
Hold on,
wrap
not
tonight.
yet.
Tom says not yet. We haven't. Just
Okay,
a
never mind.
reminder, we're using the coupon code Sunshine for 20% off all orders until April the 17th. And I'm assuming that once April the 17th rolls around that we're gonna do something else, because we don't have any shows until May 7, 8, and 9. Is that Mega Meet, Tom? May 7? I think it's May 7, 8, and 9. Mega Meet in Novi, Michigan is still on the calendar, has not been canceled yet. And New
things.
York show in Auburn, New York has not been canceled yet. I kind of think that show's going to end up being canceled, but it's not. And he does have an alternative date, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with New York. Yes, Mr. Creed.
Ask them to please give us a
Oh, that's a good point.
thumbs up on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And pass the word around
Yeah.
to their friends
Yeah.
to join us every
Yeah.
Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30
Yes.
Eastern.
I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but Mr. Creek's asking, would you please give us a thumbs up and invite your
Tuesday.
friends Tuesdays and Thursdays to join us. The other thing is, I'll just tell you this. When you like make your comments and give us a thumbs up, it helps other people find the videos when they go to try to find them, because they don't get lost in the algorithm. This is all about algorithms. So that really helps. The other thing is, if you watch a video all the way till the end, it helps us huge. I mean, like, it's a really big deal. So sometimes I know, even for myself, I start watching a video and then I'm like, oh, I got to go finish dinner. I got something else going on, and I don't get the video finished. I'll turn it off. If you can just leave the video run and let it run all the way to the end, that is huge for us. And that would be a real blessing, because it will help other people find the videos and they can watch them. Sarah, thank you for the great comment. Bridget, I'm glad you joined in. Are we done for tonight?
We're done. Thank you,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hold
thank
on.
you. Thank you for coming by. Tom's coming around the corner. Watch out. Here he comes.
Thanks,
Thank
ladies.
you.
See
We'll
you
see
Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
7:30.
Bye.
Bye.